Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hello students, welcome to Swayam Prabha, channel 15. The course title is Human Resource Management. The lecture title is Employee Counseling, HR Audit and Job Changes. This is module 12, lecture 2. I am Dr. Shoma Sengupta, Associate Professor Commerce, Kamla Nehru College. In this module, we will discuss job changes, transfers, promotions. Concept of job change. Now, job change is defined as a move to a different job. So, it is like either you are internally moving horizontally or vertically, or you are moving out of the organization. So, that is a kind of a separation. So, any change in the job can be considered as a movement here. Any kind of movement can be a job change. So job changes can be of two types, internal mobility and external mobility. Internal mobility is employees move from one job to another within an organization through transfers, promotions, demotions. External mobility is employees leave their organization due to maybe resignation, retirement or termination. So job changes, it provides to the organization a kind of a flexibility and mobility. Reasons for job changes. Why job changes take place in the organization? We said it can be internal mobility or it can be external mobility also. So there is a change in the organization structure. Job redesigning, job regrouping has been done, and because of that there is some kind of movement or shuffling within the organization. Changes in technology may take place. So for that again, people may be shifted from one job to another, or if they are not adhering to the challenges or taking up the challenges, they may leave the organization also. Changes in the jurisdiction of the departments. So the boundaries are demarcated or re-demarcated, and again there is a shifting. Changes in the volume of work, there is expansion, diversification, or in fact the opposite can also take place, recession. In all these situations there will be job changes. Change in the product mix, introduction of a new product, so you may be, some of the employees may be then transferred to that division. Stoppage of an existing product, so if one product line is stopped, many of them will be absorbed in another product line which is existing or doing well, and some of them may even lose the job. Another reason may be change in the demands of the trade union. They want that people should be promoted, or some kind of transfers they are asking for, that will lead to job change. Change in the employees, like knowledge, skill, aptitude, values. He has gained knowledge, so he has to be promoted up in the organization. Again, it is a job change. Maintaining interpersonal relations in the organization. Sometimes two people are not in a very cordial relationship, so they can't work in one department. There is problem in that department, so one may be shifted to another division to maintain interpersonal relations also. Change in government rules and regulation, so that will have an impact on the organization, and job changes may take place. Social and cultural changes sometimes happens, and because of that it has an impact on jobs also, like it may be related to working hours, or some cultural constraints are there. In you are working in a particular organization, women can't work at a particular period of time, say at night. So shifts will be changed, and some changes will take place. Objectives or purposes of job change. One, to improve the organizational effectiveness. So superfluous positions may be abolished. Positions may be redesigned or regrouped. Another may be to maximize employee efficiency. So as to utilize the knowledge, skills, and potential of an employee in an optimum manner. Match the qualification with job requirements. The other objective can be to cope with the changes in the operations. Change in economic conditions like layoffs during the depression or recession to reduce the labor cost. Promotions and transfers to meet the higher order skills required during prosperity. To ensure discipline in the organization. Demotions and layoffs to discipline or punish erring employees. So that can be another objective or purpose of job change. Now, one of the method of job change or reason for job change may be transfer. So, we will discuss the concept of transfer. Transfer is a change in job where the new job is substantially equal or to the old in terms of pay, status, and responsibilities. So, this definition is given by Edwin B. Flippo. So, what is happening here? At the same level, one person is shifted from one job to another without any substantial change in his pay, status, and responsibility. We can also say that this is a horizontal movement. So, transfer is a horizontal or lateral movement of an employee from one job to another in the same organization. Transfer is a process of placing employees in positions where they are likely to be more effective or where they are to get more job satisfaction. So this can be one of the reasons for transfer, to improve the effectiveness of that person. There is no change in the responsibility, designation, status, or salary. It is a process of employees' adjustment with the work, time, and place. And sometimes transfer may also take place as it may be made as a disciplinary action. So if you are not performing well, as a disciplinary measure, you may be shifted to a remote place as a punishment. So there may be many reasons for giving transfers. Nature of transfer. So what characteristics we have found? That it is horizontal or lateral movement, no change in responsibility, designation, status, or salary. It takes place within the organization, within the department or the organization. Employees need to adjust to the new work, time, and place. It is made to increase the effectiveness and job satisfaction of the employees. It may be initiated by the company or the employee, or sometimes by the public also. So anybody, it may be 2 or 3 different kind of people who may be asking for a transfer. May be made as a disciplinary action, which we have discussed, and it may be temporary or it may be a permanent transfer. Need and purpose of transfer. The first one is to meet the organizational needs. So organization has a specific need. Maybe one of the division is flourishing, another is not working well. So excess manpower from one division may be transferred to that division. So organizational effectiveness you want to improve, and because of that transfers are taking place. Or you have opened a new division, new plant, again transfers may take place. To satisfy employees' needs. Sometimes employees ask for a specific area where they want to get transferred because of, say, better opportunities, or his family is residing over there, it is closer to his home state or in his hometown. So that can be, or for sometimes for health reason also, they want to go to a particular want to be transferred to a particular place. Then to better utilize employees. So to improve the effectiveness of the employee, they may be transferred to another job where their potential can be harnessed. To make the employee more versatile, as we have discussed time and again, job rotation, an employee may be shifted from one job to another, and then to another, and then to another, so as to know the nuances of each of the job. And so you are creating a kind of a generalist who can be later on promoted to a managerial position. To adjust to the workforce, so if there is deficiency in one division or surplus is in another division, persons from surplus division may be transferred to the deficient one. Provide relief. So if an employee is working for a long period of time in an area which is quite difficult to live, so you are providing him some relief and he can be shifted to another area which is more amicable. So it happens in army sometimes. People are if they are spending 2 years in a difficult terrain or in difficult zones, then after 2 3 years they are shifted to peace areas where they can live with their families. To punish employees, so as we have discussed that it can be used as a disciplinary measure also to increase the productivity and effectiveness of the organization. Other purposes of transfer are to increase job satisfaction, to stabilize the fluctuating work needs, to improve employee skills, so that job rotation will be helpful in improving employee skills, improve labor relations, to rectify faulty placements. If some faulty placement has been done, now to rectify it, that person may be transferred to a job which is more suitable to him, to develop employees for future promotions, to avoid the monotony and boredom of the employees. Now the types of transfer. First type is production transfer. Now employee from surplus divisions are transferred to those divisions or branches where there is a shortage of employees, that we have discussed earlier also. It helps in avoiding layoff and stabilizing the employment. Then second is replacement transfer. It takes place when labor requirements are declining to retain the long service employees, to give them some relief from the heavy pressure of the work, and to avoid layoffs. Replacement transfers may take place. Then penalty transfer, or which is used as a disciplinary action to penalize erring employees transferred to a far-flung and remote area. The next type is versatility transfer. Job rotation is done where employees are made to move from one job to another to gain varied and broader experience of work. It also reduces boredom and monotony and gives job enrichment. Employees' versatility can be utilized by the organization. He can become then a managerial person. He can be promoted to a managerial position. Remedial transfer, another one, to correct the wrong selection and placement of employees. Employees transfer to more suitable job, and it also protects the interest of the employee. And the last one is shift transfer, where work progresses for 24 hours or in shifts. There such type of shift transfer can be done. Employees are transferred from one shift to another on the basis of mutual understanding and convenience. Sometimes also to give relief to the person. Suppose he is working for 1 month in the night shift, then he can be shifted to a day shift to provide him some relief. So these are the types of transfer. Transfer policy. Now in an organization, a clear-cut transfer policy should be there, which is a kind of a written statement where the basis of transfer, the circumstances under which transfers will be made, everything should be in writing. It should be communicated to each of the employee. Employee should know why a transfer may take place, when a transfer may take place, the duration within which they will be transferred, so that there are later on no misunderstanding between the employee and the management. It also should specify the authority which would handle the transfers. Intimate the fact of transfer to the person concerned well in advance. So if you are transferring a person, you give him some time or breather so that he can make the necessary arrangements. So it should be given to him in advance. Specify the jobs to which transfers will be made, and duties and salary on assumption of new jobs should also be clarified. clarify in the transfer policy that whether the transfer is permanent or temporary. Indicate whether transfers can be made within a department or between departments or between units. Not to be made frequently and not for the sake of transfer only. There should be some purpose for transfer. It should be consistent with the overall objectives of the organization. Transfer policy should be tailor-made to the needs of the organization, should be made in consultation with the employee or made known to him in advance, and specify the entitlement and facilities after a transfer. Concept of promotion. We have said that transfer is a horizontal movement from one job to another without any substantial change in pay, responsibility, or designation. Promotion is a vertical movement, and that too upward movement, vertical upward movement, which involves an increase in pay, responsibility, authority of the person. So promotion refers to vertical movement of an employee from one job to another higher one within the organization with increase in salary, status, and responsibility. One definition by Dale Yoder: promotion provides incentive to initiative, enterprise, and ambition, minimizes discontent and unrest, attracts capable individuals, necessitates logical training for advancement, and forms an effective reward for loyalty and cooperation, long service, etc. So in this definition, you can see the benefits of promotion. So you are attracting capable people, retaining them in the organization, minimizing discontent and unrest, and in nutshell, promotion is a high motivating or motivator for employees. So if employees know that they can be, if they work hard, they will get promotions, then naturally their performance will improve. Nature of promotion. As we have seen that it is vertical upward movement, it takes place within the organization, results in increase in authority, salary, status, and responsibilities. It may be temporary or permanent depending upon the needs of the organization. There can be a case of dry promotion also. What is dry promotion? Where an employee is assigned to a higher level job without any increase in pay. So responsibilities do change, but the pay doesn't. So it is not a great motivator. Promotion has an inbuilt motivational value. So dry promotion, not motivational. But other type of promotion where there is an increased status and salary, then it has a motivational value. Considered good personnel policy to fill vacancies in a higher level job from within the organization. It provides motivation to the employees, as I said, and removes the feeling of stagnation and frustration. The purposes or objectives of promotion: to recognize the employee's skill and knowledge and utilize it to improve the organization's effectiveness. As we said that it is a great motivator, so to reward them and motivate employees to higher productivity. To develop the competitive spirit in the organization and inculcate a zeal in the employee to acquire new skills, knowledge, etc. To promote employee satisfaction and boost their morale. To build loyalty among them and towards the organization. To promote good human relations, increase sense of belongingness, retain skilled and talented people, attract trained, competent, and hardworking people, to impress the other employees that opportunities are available for them too if they perform well. Now the merits and demerits of promotion. Merits are more like job satisfaction, motivation, self-development. Employees will take interest in training and development because they know that after undergoing training and development, they will get promotion. Demerits are inbreeding and stagnation because talented people from outside are not taken to fill the vacancies at a higher position, but people from within the organization are getting promotion to that position. New thinking does not enter the enterprise. As we have discussed the transfer policy, there can be a promotion policy. There should be a promotion policy in the organization. It should provide equal opportunity for promotion across the jobs, departments and regions. So everybody should get equal opportunity for promotion. Must be applied uniformly for all the employees. Must be fair and impartial. Basis of promotion must be clarified, clearly specified and made known to the employees. Must be correlated with the career planning. Both quick bunching and delayed promotion must be avoided. Appropriate authority must be entrusted with the task of making final decisions. Promotions may be made on trial basis also, but that should be mentioned in the transfer policy. Provision must be there in the promotion policy. Promotion policy. Provision must be there in the promotion policy to revert him to the former post if he is not performing well. And finally, it must be good blending of promotions made from both inside and outside the organization. So to fill up higher position, not only people from within the organization should be promoted, but a few people from outside should also be given an opportunity in the organization. Now there is one point of debate, that is the basis of promotion policy, whether it should be seniority or merit. Both has their advantages and disadvantages, and a combination of the two may be more suitable. So we will discuss all that in this section. So first, basis of promotion policy, the seniority, if seniority is taken as basis of policy. So seniority, what does it mean? It means the length of service. So a person who is there in the organization for a longer period of time will be considered senior. And if that is the basis of promotion, a senior person will be given the promotion, not a junior person. So the justification is positive correlation between length of service and performance or talent. So that is, as you become senior, you gain more knowledge and you should be given promotion. The advantage is it is simple to understand, easy to measure and an objective criteria. Sense of security it gives to people working in the organization. It reduces employee turnover because they know as they become senior, they will get the promotion. It is supported by the trade union because it is objective and senior people are getting a promotion. It gives a sense of satisfaction to the employee, and it is in line with the Indian culture also, that is pay respect to the seniors. So you are making them, you are promoting them, and because of that people will respect the senior. Disadvantages are invalid assumption of seniority increases talent. So this might not be true. A young person may be more talented, but he will miss the opportunity for promotion just because seniority is the basis of promotion. Good performance is not recognized, so that person who is junior may be demotivated. It demotivates young talented employees, kills ambitions, low efficiency and fails to attract young talented employees. So these are the merits and demerits of seniority as a basis of promotion. Now merit as a basis of promotion. Merit means performance, knowledge and skill. So if a person is more talented, he should be promoted irrespective of the length of service. So that is merit based promotion. So the advantages of seniority as a basis here becomes demerits and disadvantages, and the disadvantages of seniority as a basis becomes advantages or merits in case of merit based promotion. So the advantages are it motivates competent employees, high efficiency, good performance is recognized and attracts young talented employees. The disadvantages are it is subjective, trade union distrust it, it increases employee turnover, old employees become insecure. Merit indicates past performance, not the future performance. So we have seen that there are advantages and disadvantages of both the basis of promotion, whether it is seniority or merit. So what is the solution then? There are advantages and disadvantages of both the methods, so the best policy is you can have a combination of the two, that is seniority cum merit. So it is combination of seniority and merit. How it works: prescribe the minimum length of service to become eligible for promotion. Say all those who have worked for 5 years in this position are due for promotion. So seniority at the first level. Assign relative weightage to seniority and merit. Now, from them, the person who is meritorious will be selected for promotion. Employees with performance record and qualification are considered for promotion, or seniority is used to select. So it may be any combination, first seniority and then merit, or first merit and then seniority. Any combination of seniority and merit is possible, but it is the best method because it has the advantages of both the methods, combining the advantages of both the methods, and equal weightage is given to seniority as well as merit. The last section of this lecture is demotion. Demotion refers to a downward movement of an employee in the organizational hierarchy with lower status and lower salary. Now, why demotion is needed? Because otherwise, nobody likes demotion. Any employee who is demoted, he will be demoralized, and sooner or later, he will leave the organization. Or even if he remains in the organization, he will not be happy with the organization. So, the need for demotion, it is incompetence. If the employee is not competent enough for the particular post, then he may be demoted to a lower post. As a disciplinary measure also, if he is erring from his work, then as a disciplinary measure he may be demoted. In under adverse business conditions also, an employee may be demoted because there is a recessionary condition and the organization will not be able to pay a higher salary. For technical changes also, demotion may happen in the sense that if the employee could not cope up with the new technology or adapt to the new technology, he may be demoted. But as in the case of transfer and promotion, there should be a policy. Likewise, there should be a demotion policy in which the circumstances under which the demotion may take place will be specified. The competent person, his name should be mentioned, who is authorized to give the demotion orders. The violations, the rules, regulations regarding demotion, or everything should be specified. Demotion should be given to an employee, but it should be an impartial one. It is not on the basis of some personal problem with the employee. So the competent authority should be impartial while demoting a person. And always there should be a provision for appeal and review against a demotion, so that the employee can explain things, ask for explanations, and also appeal that such orders should be taken back. So this is demotion, and it should be avoided under all possible. Now in this lecture, what we have discussed: job changes, which is defined as a move to a different job, which may be internal or external. It takes place to improve organizational effectiveness or to maximize employee efficiency. Transfer is a horizontal or lateral movement of an employee from one job to another in the same organization. Promotion refers to vertical upward movement of an employee from one job to another, higher one within the organization, with increase in salary, status and responsibility. And demotion is just exactly opposite of this one, that is a vertical downward movement, and in this there will be decrease in salary, status and responsibility, which is generally given because of some changes in the organizational setup, or if as a disciplinary action. But it should be avoided as far as possible, because a demoted person will not feel happy about it and will actually he will be depressed and may leave the organization. Now, a combination of seniority and merit should be used as a basis of promotion. So that's all in this section. Thank you, students. So this was the lecture on employee counseling, HR audit and job changes. This was module 12, lecture 2.